Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Nerd for No Reason podcast. We are a movie review nerd culture podcast, and just welcome. It's been a couple weeks. I am one of your hosts, Mark.
Hey there, I'm your other host, and I'm Raven. What's up, guys? Welcome.
We did it.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah.
So, Raven.
How's it going? Yeah.
Man, it's going good. I've been astronomically busy this week, and I know you have too because you're moving. How's the move going?
Oof, it is. It is going. I don't have internet at my apartment, and I've lived there for a week now, and I won't have internet until Chris moves in because I don't know how to do any of the setup.
that is a shame.
Yeah.
When's he supposed to move now?
Wednesday?
Oh, word.
Yeah, we'll see if it... I don't know. They were trying to do it, but it's under his name, so I couldn't really talk to the guy.
No.
And so it was a whole thing, yeah. It was annoying.
All right. Yeah, we've been going nonstop, like with all of our extracurriculars, and then now it's been showtime for Alice's play that she's been in. So all of that play and rehearsal that she's been doing for the last 4 months has come to this week, and she's burnt out. I'm burnt out. Next week I got some work stuff that's going to burn me out. Like, I'm ready for next week to be over with because then I think I can take a break. I'm not real sure. It's just like everything is just going from one busy thing to another, especially when I get off work. I don't think this entire week I got home before 7 o'clock in the evening.
Ew.
All week. Yeah, it was gross. I didn't really like it that much.
That's a rough week, man.
So, but on the subject of Alice's play, they did Beauty and the Beast. Much to the chagrin of my daughter, who really wanted to do Shrek. But she was Mrs. Potts, so she got to sing the title track. And she did really good.
Very nice.
She did good. There was like the group of the characters of Lumiere, Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, and in the play version there is the big armoire character. She has a bigger role in the play, and those 4 people, my daughter included, were, with the exception of Belle for this production, were like the best ones in the show. It was such a treat to watch all them up there. The girl who did Belle, she was great for an 8th grader. Like, she knocked it out of the park. I was like, oh boy. And then I found out she's not even in chorus or drama or any of that stuff. She plays softball. She just does the play like once a year. She shows up, wrecks shop, and then goes back to playing softball.
Hey.
I'm like, what?
Way to do it.
So yeah, it was wild. And then last night was quote unquote alumni night for middle school. So all these former drama nerds that were there, it was almost like being at a Rocky Horror Picture Show. Someone would come out and they would scream, and then someone else would come out and they were like, oh my God. Like, y'all got to chill out. And even Alice told me, like, don't come on alumni night, you'll hate it. She was right. I mean, I didn't hate it, but it was definitely not my preferred viewing experience.
But you're sitting over there like, what's happening with all these children?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Well, you think you're over there like at Amy's little practice of hers where it's like the girls are like, we got new Squishmallows and blah, blah, blah. Like something like that.
It was very much like cheerleading, where the girls will do, like in cheerleading, the girls are very, like, they cheer for everything the other girls are doing on stage. So the girls on stage will do, a cartwheel or something, and every time they do it, they're the whole audience just goes berserk. I'm like, dog, this is like the 50th cartwheel I've seen today. I personally am no longer impressed by cartwheels. I've seen other people do back handsprings as well. And I know they're all just supporting each other, and I respect that. But they were just cheering to be cheering, and that was very much like last night. Someone would come out, and there's one little boy who does plays for one of the local, small theaters in town, and the young man's talented, but he can be quite a little diva. And when he walked out, everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's him!" I'm like, "Listen, man, I've met this kid before. He's a little turd. Y'all do not need to be cheering this young man. He is a bad person, and y'all are just feeding his ego to make him a turd next year." You should have just
stood up and just instantly booed him. Just been like, "Boo!
Boo this man! Why are you booing me? You know I'm right."
All the parents were like, "Oh, thank God, finally someone said it. I'm tired of this." I did see photos. I think that your wife posted, and their little outfits look cute, and so that sounds fun. That's exciting. Did they do? Was it like the music? Was it live, or was
no?
It
was on the track.
We actually did Beauty and the Beast my senior year of high school, and we had live music, and my best friend and I were both in band. It was very, select few people that actually, played in the, wind instruments and drum stuff. And then we had, a piano person. It was really nice. It was fun. So I got to, watch the play from, under the stage and be like, "Yo, what's up?" It was a good time.
I do miss the high school musicals where I was part of the pit as well.
Right.
That was always super fun. By the end of the show, I had the entire play memorized.
Oh, of course.
And my grandmother, who lived close to the school, I would go to her house a lot. And I would just be bebopping around her house after rehearsal, just singing the whole thing. Fiddler on the Roof, knew all of it. She was like, "Oh, you need to be up there on stage." I'm like, no. I don't know any of those people. They're not just going to let me go up there and, I can't audition like that. Plus, I'm in band. I can't do two things at once. I can't diversify my time like that. Not enough hours in the day. No.
Fair.
Oh, man. So, let's see. I guess kind of the big news coming up for this week. Let's get into the show proper. The big news coming up over the next week. Oscar talk.
Oh, boy.
Will Smith slapping folks. Yes, I'm the next person in line to make that joke. Will Smith done slap people. Will Smith be slapping people.
Oh, wait. Did you see... crap. What's his name?
Chris Rock?
Yes, that he apparently had a whole little moment about it on his new live special.
I actually saw some clips of it this morning.
Oh, really?
And I will say, just on the little clips that I saw, he's absolutely right to be upset and angry with Chris Rock and Jada. And I want to go see the rest of the special to get some context for it. Because the part that I saw was just him ranting and raving. It's still funny, but, he's right. He talks about how Will Smith was having selective outrage and decided to take it out on Chris Rock. Mm-hmm. And he is absolutely right. His wife cheated on him and basically interviewed him on television. Like, "Well, I cheated. How do you feel about it?" And
yeah.
Took all that aggression out on Chris Rock.
It was a time to be alive.
Mm-hmm. So, if any of the other award shows are any indication this year, it looks like the big winners are going to be Brendan Fraser for The Whale, which I think is a great Cinderella story, I think is the term, for a guy who has been out of the industry for so long, or taken bit parts and was almost just blackballed from Hollywood because of his situation, and then came back, landed the perfect role, by all accounts just the nicest dude, and is the front runner for winning the best actor in a leading role for The Whale.
That makes me so happy for him.
It does, man. It's wonderful. And as someone who remembers watching his career grow from Encino Man, which used to be one of my favorite movies, it's awesome. I still think The Mummy is one of the last great kind of PG-13 action-adventure swashbuckling movies that we don't kind of get anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great to see him kind of back, as it were.
Nice.
I think the only person that could probably beat him is Austin Butler for Elvis, as far as like a popularity thing, because I don't know any of these other people.
I was trying to I never actually watched the Elvis movie. My aunt is like a massive Elvis fan, and I was like, "How'd you like the movie?" And she was like, "It was good, but he's no Elvis." And I was like, "Okay." So I don't know if people are like, as crazy obsessed with Elvis as my aunt is. Maybe Brendan Fraser will just be like, "This is me."
Yeah. Let's see. I'm just going down the list here. I'm on the Oscar website. I'm just going to go down the list and just kind of hit the high points. As far as the actors in a supporting role, and I think kind of across the board for the Oscars in general, I think Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is the movie to beat in every category that it's nominated in. Mm-hmm. I'm going to mess up his name, and I apologize, dear viewer, in advance. Ki Hai Kwan from Everywhere. I think, he's the guy. I would really like to see Brian Tyree Henry win, because he's the dude from Atlanta. I've listened to interviews from him before. He didn't even really want to get into acting. He sidestepped it. He just kind of sidestepped into acting, and now he's nominated for an Oscar. So, he was. I think he was getting ready to graduate. The story goes, he was getting ready to graduate high school, and someone said, "Hey, you should submit an audition tape to Juilliard." And he was like, "Nah, I don't want to do that." And he was like, "No, I'll go ahead and do it." And he's like, "What do I got to lose?" And he got in, and thus started his acting career.
Ooh.
So very much kind of just one of those things, like I did it on a whim, and next thing I know, I'm an actor. And I think that would be a great story for him. But also at the same time, I think that the industry as a whole has very much pushed Short Round off to the side, so much so that he got out of it. And when he decided to come back, now he's in an Oscar-nominated role, and that makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
And we love Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Oh my gosh, so good.
Oh. And speaking of which, Best Actress, in just the actress categories, you have Best Actress in Michelle Yeoh and two double nominees for Jamie Lee Curtis and Stephanie Hsu, which is great. You have, you've done something right when you have two actors from your movie competing against each other for an Oscar. Mm-hmm. But I think Angela Bassett's going to win. As much as I hated that movie, I think Angela Bassett's going to win.
She's such a wonderful actress. She's so good. I love that woman. Sorry.
Animated feature film. Have you seen any of these movies in the animated feature film?
I haven't, actually. I really wanted to watch Puss in Boots, but I was so busy with, working constantly. And then when I came to Knoxville, Chris was like, "Oh, most of us have already lost Puss in Boots." And I was like, crap. And I didn't get to watch Turning Red. I wanted to. I might. It's on Disney Plus or something. I don't know. I'll figure out where to watch that one. But I haven't heard of Marcel the Shell with Shoes On or the Sea Beast.
The Sea Beast is a Netflix movie.
Oh, yeah?
And Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is, I think that started off as a web short. And it was so good that they were like, cool, let's make this a feature-length movie.
No.
And apparently it is very good as well.
Okay.
So, I think the only one of these that I've seen is Turning Red. And while I did enjoy it, that movie's not for me. I am not, nor have I ever been a, 13-year-old girl.
Fair.
Which I think is who that, or 11, that 10 to 13-year-old range. That's who that movie is geared towards. And I appreciate that. It's a fun movie, but it just wasn't for me. So,
Without having seen any of these movies, I am like 95% sure it's probably going to be Puss in Boots. The amount of people that raved about that movie, especially like people that I worked with and people that I like just talked to, they're all like, have you seen Puss in Boots yet? And I'm like, no, I've been busy working. And they're like, I've already seen it like 3 times. And I'm like, okay.
And it seemed like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Like, there was hardly any promotion for it, to be honest.
Yeah.
For it to be as big as it really became.
Yeah. I think Pinocchio's going to win.
Oh, really?
Because the Academy loves Guillermo del Toro.
True.
And I think, if anything, they will... And they love that kind of... what's the word I'm looking for? Very much with like the way hipsters like Wes Anderson movies. Mm-hmm. The Academy loves Guillermo del Toro because... And I'm not saying that Pinocchio's not a great movie, because by all accounts, everything that I've heard about it is that it's wonderful. But they very much like that kind of, he's a director and he's this artist. And, they really kind of do that. They celebrate that kind of risk-taking. Mm-hmm. They did give him an Oscar a couple years ago about, a lady who slept with a fish. So,
class.
With a fish man.
Yeah, don't get it wrong.
Let's see, what else we got?
Got the
cinematography. Don't know any of these movies on here except for Elvis. I haven't seen any of them.
I've heard a lot about All Quiet on the Western Front, but I have not watched it, nor do I think I will. I know that I've seen the older version, and I was bored by it. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah. Let's see. Next on the list, costume design. I honestly think there's a toss-up between Black Panther and Everything Everywhere All at Once.
True.
Black Panther, if you've seen any of the Black Panthers, them costumes are wonderful. Mm-hmm.
But Everything Everywhere All at Once had, just constant change.
Right. 1,000 costumes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't tell you about any of the other 2 movies. Maybe Elvis, but no, I don't think, even from what I've seen on Elvis, I don't think anything's going to hold a candle to Black Panther, Everything Everywhere.
Yeah.
So, directing, the big one. Haven't seen any of these movies. This is well, no, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think that's going to win. They might give it to Steven Spielberg because they love Steven Spielberg. But I haven't seen Tar, Triangle of Sadness, or Banshees of Inisherin.
I literally haven't heard of any of those movies. Interesting.
So, yeah, I again. My prediction is everything, the directors are going to walk out of there like Outkast did at the Grammys, just holding just Oscars all in their hands, just taking pictures like 10 Oscars.
They're just like, hey, what's up? We knew what we were here for.
Yep. All right, I'm going to skip past the documentaries because I haven't seen any documentaries.
Yeah.
So, film editing of the day, yep, just moving on down. Musical song, or songs, original song. Here's the thing. I remember when I was younger where at the Oscars, they had whoever was nominated for this song, they would have these musical breaks of people oh, hey, man, Coolio's going to be performing, Eminem performing, and like just it was a thing. Celine Dion singing "My Heart Will Go On." 3-6 Mafia. 3-6 Mafia winning an Oscar for
All right.
best song from Hustle and Flow is one of my favorite acceptance speeches on the entire planet. I'm going to try to find it. I will send it to you, Raven, but dear listener, I'm going to put it in here in the podcast at this moment.
Oh, my.
Hey, we want to thank Keith Young, our choreographer.
Yes.
Man, help me out. Whole Sony Records, Lisa Ellis, our moms, our whole family.
Thank you, Jesus.
Selecto
The
Hits
Academy.
for giving us a chance. The Academy, we love the
Rosenberg.
Academy. You know what I'm saying? Gil Cakes, everybody,
Man,
man.
we love y'all.
Hell, I got plenty of time left. I don't know nobody else tonight. I want to
Thank you.
thank everybody,
Lisa
man.
Ellis, Donnie Einer. Yeah.
Once again, our families. Ludacris,
Sony
Shaka, what's
Records.
up? Going down,
love
James
y'all,
Fox.
man. Yeah.
George Clooney, my favorite man. He showed me love when I first met him.
Living
I love
Tennessee,
him.
we bring the house.
We out of here.
Yeah. Living Tennessee.
You know what? How come they're the most excited people here tonight? Why is that? They're thrilled. They're thrilled. That's how you accept an Oscar.
Yeah, the Lady Gaga song from Top Gun Maverick, I heard it once because I was like, ooh, let me check this out. I think I heard like half of it. Never heard it again.
Dang.
So, I don't know. Any of these songs
No.
ring a bell for you
Nope.
besides Rihanna?
I have no idea.
All right.
I don't even think I've heard the Rihanna one, to be honest.
Word. All right. Big
Best picture.
Best Picture. Largest of all the categories. However many we got here. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, Way of Water, Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Fableman's Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking. Surprised to see Top Gun Maverick in there.
Right? There's a lot of Top Gun going on.
Yeah, but this is the only thing out of like the major categories that got nominated for. Mm-hmm. Tom Cruise wasn't nominated. I think it's in some minor categories like cinematography or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is inexplicably one of my favorite movies of last year. So, will it win Oscar? No,
Absolutely not.
All at Once is. I hope Avatar doesn't win in a surprise upset, just because it's popular
Yeah.
everywhere else in the world. But, yeah.
I think
I'm
it's a
just
big toss-up of who knows.
I think if anything, if All at Once doesn't win, I think it's going to be like Tar or Triangle of Sadness or Women Talking. It's going to be one of those really small movies that no one's seen. Everyone's going to be like, what? Mm-hmm. So that's what I think. Let's see if anything else kind of jumps out at me. Visual effects, maybe. Avatar should win. It's beautiful. I do appreciate the Batman, Top Gun Maverick, and Black Panther Forever, which I think out of all the categories, this has the most movies that I've seen in it.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. Writing,
Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion.
Glass Onion. Hey, we're going to talk about some Knives Out here in a minute.
Hey.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert, just in case you didn't know.
Yeah. I think, again, All at Once. I think that's going to win the original screenplay. Probably Top Gun might win adaptive screenplay. Maybe. But who knows? So that's Yeah, that's the Oscars, man. I think after last year's slap, I think everything's going to be very mild this year. I don't think we're going to get any surprises. I think it's going to be 4 hours long. It's not going to be any fun. I don't even know who's hosting.
Same.
Do you even know who's hosting?
No, I don't. It's a little surprising.
Oh, Jimmy Kimmel. That's right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, yeah.
I want him out there, make a few laughs, but for the most part, just keep it in range of let's get it over with.
And this is his third time doing it. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. He'll come out there, he'll move it along. I don't think they'll have him doing hardly anything special or out of the ordinary. They always look for the safe host, you know. And I think with the exception of the slap last year, Chris Rock was a relatively safe host, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, are you ready to get into our movie of the week?
I mean, I suppose.
Cool. Now, this week we talked about the murder mystery movie directed and written by Rian Johnson, the man who, by many accounts, ruined the new Star Wars movies. But come to find out, it's actually a great writer and director when he's not managing someone else's IP. Have you seen Knives Out before, Raven?
Yeah. It took me quite a few tries to watch Knives Out, but I had seen it.
This is my first time.
Really?
Yes.
Oh. Well.
I loved it.
Good. I was about to ask you the question, but yeah, go for it. Tell me what you think.
This was such a fun movie. I've not seen Daniel Craig in a whole bunch of things. I'm not a big James Bond fan, so I haven't seen him in a lot of things. But this was just a delight. This was so much fun. This is how I want all of my murder mysteries to be. It was fun without being campy. It wasn't like that kind of noir, hard-boiled crime murder mystery, so it wasn't all dark and grim and everything else. Some of the flashbacks were like that, and that was fun because how they did that kind of camera work. But I liked how they didn't show their hands too early. But it was a blast. It was so much fun. Twists, turns, everything. Raven, what'd you think of it?
I mean, I agree with you. I totally do. There's such a great cast. Good diversity of just, well-rounded actors and actresses that are all just trying to play the part of, I was daddy's favorite and this is why we think that we should have the money and stuff like that. But the girl that played Marta, I loved her. She was so cute, and she just was like, yeah, I'm not the help, but I guess I'm here to just, do my part in this family that doesn't give a single shit about me except for the man that I took care of.
Right.
So the first time that I tried to go and see Knives Out, your lovely father and stepmother were actually in town. They were meeting us to do Christmas stuff. We were going to go to the Rock City Enchanted Lights. It was going to be a great time. I was supposed to have a work thing because I was working in a kitchen for Blue Cross at the time, and they were having their big Christmas party. And I was on my way to my grandparents' house, not even 2 minutes from the house that I'm currently in right now, and someone just wrecked my car. She drove straight into me, and I was able to dodge just enough, but she hit the rear end of my car, pushed me off the road and stuff. And I, of course, then started having an anxiety attack. Was trying to call Chris and my grandparents to be like, hey, will someone come help me? I don't have a car. Became this whole thing. They were like, do you need to go to the hospital? I was like, not in an ambulance, thanks. I'll wait for my grandparents to get here. So the entire time, my body is like shaking and still panicking because I'm like, bro, what just happened? And it didn't stop for like probably 2 to 3 hours after my wreck.
Oh,
and
wow.
so I had to like text your parents and be like, yo, just so you know, we're probably not going to the lights tonight. And I like sent them pictures of the car and they're like, what happened? And Chris had to like, it was this whole thing. So Chris like meets us at the hospital. They give me like some painkillers because like I got beat up a little bit. And so my body was just kind of sore. And I took them. We all went out to dinner. My grandparents, Chris, his dad, Yvette, me. And then we were like, let's go do something a little more easy. Let's go watch Knives Out. And they were all like, yeah, sounds great. We got into that theater at Regal. I literally watched the little Regal roller coaster and passed out. Didn't watch
Wow.
a single bit of the movie until the very end, where you just see Marta standing up at the top looking down at all the family.
Wow.
I was like, what the heck just happened? And then I think I also fell asleep the second time that we tried to watch it. So I've attempted to watch it twice and successfully watched it 2 times. But yeah. So that was my fun time of Knives Out.
It took me a minute to watch it as well, partially because that I knew that I wanted to, once I realized that I wasn't going to get spoon-fed information and I knew I had to sit down and watch it, I had to make sure that there was no one else in the house. And there was one day I just put, I was working from home and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this on. I'm going to watch it while I work. And I did. And luckily enough, I was able to pay attention good enough to where I was enthralled by this movie. I think everyone just really just acts their ass off in this movie, which is so good. Chris Evans was, this dude. I think is this the first thing he did after Endgame?
Maybe? That sounds correct. I feel like he didn't do anything afterwards.
No, he did Buzz Lightyear.
Oh, I kind of forget that exists.
No, this is the first thing he did after Endgame. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
good for him.
He did a good, little trashy grandson that's in it for the money.
I really enjoyed how everyone got their own time to shine too. Mm-hmm. Everyone got their own little moment in the proverbial spotlight, as it were. Mm-hmm. It was so. You run into this, especially when you have big ensemble casts like this, especially with this many big name people. You got Michael Shannon, Toni Collette, Jamie Lee Curtis, who we talked about earlier, Chris Evans, all of them. In any other movie, these would be the absolute stars of this movie.
Exactly.
It would focus around their characters. Or Daniel Craig, Bond, Don Johnson, Christopher Plummer, all these people who, by any other account, they would be the superstar of this movie. And they're not. Everyone gets equal screen time, it seems like. We focus on everybody. It's just great. I love the little detail of Marta not being able to lie or else she's going to throw up. Mm-hmm. That was clever and funny. And again, this all goes back to it's funny without being corny. It's,
Exactly.
Wonderful. A+, chef's kiss, all my compliments heaped upon this movie. I can't, and I've been waiting to watch Glass Onion, and I don't know if they're even related besides Daniel Craig, but I've been waiting to watch Glass Onion until I watched Knives Out, and I'm more excited now to watch Glass Onion because I enjoyed Knives Out so much.
Mm-hmm. I watched like a little video of like doing little breakdowns and stuff of the things that like you should watch, but you know, you get carried away with watching the actors just put on such a great role. Like the baseball. That's what's the old man's name? I just completely blanked on it.
Oh, Harlan?
Yes, the baseball that he like has on his desk, that just continues to like go around to the different people, and how it's like you're supposed to keep your eye on the ball and stuff like that, because it also like helps you figure out like clues, you know, and just like a bunch of the cool little aspects that they just continued to like throw in there, like that portrait of him where he was like, I think it was above the fireplace, yeah, where he's just like in this little picture, but like towards the end when they like realize who the killer is, he's like smiling and stuff because he's like, good, now March gets the house and stuff like that. I don't know, I like those little breakdown types of things because, you know, you just get like so much more information than you really had in the first place.
Yeah.
So you should watch some of those because it's really cool to see just all the different things that they had. Like, crap, I just had it. You know, I just had something in my head and it just went away.
Story of my life. This is one of those movies that I would love for there to be a director's commentary on. I am furious that streaming services don't give us DVD commentary because it's just nothing but an extra audio track. I have 10 different languages that I can listen to this thing in, a whole bunch of subtitles, but I can't get director's commentary. I love to write, and this is one of those kind of movie where I would love to have a track with Rian Johnson or the cast or whoever to be like, oh yeah, you see that? That's going to come back. We did this, and this is why we did it, and it would be so much fun to listen to the director's commentary on this.
I did find it on YouTube. I'm pretty sure where Rian Johnson was like talking about all of it. So,
Really?
yes, and I debated watching it, but it was like kind of long, and I was like, will I focus enough for this? And I was like, no, because I've been packing all day, and I just want to do something different. But, yeah, go watch that on YouTube, because I think you'll probably really enjoy it. He does like a whole breakdown of a bunch of things.
All right.
Burp, burp, burp.
Well, cool. Well, that's all I got for the Knives Out. Do you got anything?
I do not. Other than if you guys haven't seen it, go see it.
Absolutely.
It's a good time. Make sure that you have time to really focus on it because there's a lot of stuff that gets constantly moved around and thrown out there.
I'm also going to take this time to go ahead and say that we will give a slight mini, very short review. I will type one up and put it on our Letterboxd account at Nerd for No Reason on Letterboxd. Make sure you go there, interact with us on there. You can track the movies that we have reviewed on the podcast. And I don't know if you can see our watch, like what we want to watch. Movies that are coming out, movies that we're looking forward to, all that kind of good stuff. Go check us out on Letterboxd at Nerd for No Reason. There, I got that plug in. It's not social media time, but I just wanted to go ahead and get that out of the way.
I mean, you could have just made it social media time.
I could have had, but we haven't got to my favorite part of the week, Ryan. Ryan? Did I just call you Ryan? It's because I'm sitting here looking at websites with Rian Johnson's name on it, and I was like, Raven, Ryan, it's close enough. Brain dumb now. Words hard.
It's all good, man. I totally get it. I do it constantly.
I'm telling you, when I get done here at 4 o'clock, I got to be back somewhere playing drums, and got to be there till 7 o'clock tonight. And then we rush and come home and put the kids in bed, and then I go to bed and I wake up and I got big stuff to do all week. Oh, yeah.
It's okay. I get it.
So, Raven, what has made you happy this week?
In the same little boat that you've been, constantly busy, your brain is like, whoa, I've got so much information and I'm just trying to get it out. I started this new job where I'm doing mobile. There we go. Yep. That has been happening to me constantly because I'm like constantly trying to get like new information. I'm meeting a bunch of like new dogs, new people, whole bunch of things, trying to learn a whole bunch of stuff to do on the van, how to take care of it. So my brain is also a little fried. But I had my first solo day on Friday where I went and I did all my grooms, and it was a great day. And so I'm very excited about the future of my grooming career and what will happen within, the next few months to years of just playing with some cute dogs. I do love dogs. But yeah, also the fact that Chris will be moving in this week. I'm super excited. We're going to get Kavik nice and bathed up because he is a giant dirt ball right now. And he's going to be miserable. But he's going to be excited for the new house because I think, like Mudslide, he will probably really like the carpet and want to scratch up on it. But yeah, that's been my week. Mark, how was your week? Tell me about it.
Well, on top of it being very busy, I got a couple things that I wrote down about things that have made me happy. Last Monday, Alice got her braces off.
Ooh.
That was a big thing that made me happy. Alice also told me a story that tickled the hell out of me. She told me what she thought the movie Forrest Gump was about when she was a kid before she had seen it.
Oh.
And she said, I didn't know anything about it, and I thought Forrest Gump was a movie about a kid that lived in like treetops, like the Lost Boys. Peter Pan Lost Boys, not the Vampire Lost Boys, but like they lived in the treetops, and there was a kid named Gump who lived in the forest. And that honestly was the funniest thing I heard all of that week. It was so funny to me because I was just like, of course she would think that. She doesn't have any frame of reference of who Tom Hanks is. This was, of course, years ago, but she didn't have any who Tom Hanks was. She didn't know what Forrest Gump was. Mm-hmm. She just thought it was just like the boxcar kids who lived in trees, and one of them ran really fast and had a girlfriend named Jenny. Didn't know. Hilarious to me.
So wholesome.
So, yeah, very wholesome. This week, the best news I think I've had all year so far is my favorite band in the big wide world, Twerp, TWRP, is going on tour. And they are bringing another band that I really, really enjoy called Magic Sword along with them. And they're going to be in Atlanta April 19th. Last June, I went to their show in Atlanta. I took a friend of mine who didn't know who Twerp was. She had a ball. It was such a great time. And this time, I think I'm going by myself, maybe. I'm not real sure. I haven't found anyone to go with me. But they announced the tour was happening on, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday, and tickets went on sale Friday. So we're doing the quote-unquote VIP experience again, which was super fun last time. I got an autographed poster. I got a bag out of the deal, special lanyard, all that. It was great. And this is where, you know, the big one of the big news stories over the past year is how Taylor Swift selling tickets, and they were $12,000 and they sold out, and just it was a big thing. Here's the thing. I think we might have talked about this, how much like a $12,000 Taylor Swift ticket gets you. Does not get you a meet and greet with Taylor Swift. Okay? You don't get anything really that special. You get maybe some pre-show stuff, maybe like a little swag bag, whatever. $11,000. That's the price of a car. Okay? My VIP experience with my favorite band in the big wide world is Twerp, and it cost me $100. And I get I feel like I get more of a value than I did if I was to get the same thing through Taylor Swift. I get a little pre-show with them, with the guys. A set number of tickets is kind of small, intimate, whatever. They come out, they tell some jokes, do remixes of their songs. It's so much fun. Favorite band. If you guys are in Atlanta April 19th around the Variety Playhouse, Little 5 Points, go check them out. You will not be disappointed. And that's what's made me very happy this week.
Very nice. I know you'll have a great time.
Kelly actually suggested that I bring a friend of mine who has absolutely no idea who this band is. And she was like, don't tell him. Tell him just to get his tickets and not to look up the band, and you two just go. And just enjoy his reaction to this band. I was like, man, I don't know. I don't know if I want to take this dude. And she was like, no, but just think about it. You know, you love this band so much. And I was like, yeah, they are like, he's going to be turned off immediately because they wear costumes. You know, that's part of their gimmick is they wear the costumes and all this. And it's very much like a techno guar. There's more theatrics into it based on the fact that these people are extremely good musicians. And it would be kind of a fun thing to do just to get this guy to go. Say, come on, we're going to this show, and you get to witness Twerp firsthand and just watch his mind be blown the second a guy comes out with a big orange traffic cone on his head. And then a guy in essentially a cat suit with a bus driver hat comes on. It's just the wildness that is a Twerp show. I don't know.
Very nice. Very cool.
Might bring him. All right, Raven, tell everybody where they can find you on the interwebs.
On the Twitters, you can find me at spooky_Raven. On the Instagrams, you can find me at That's So Raven Ellis. You can also find us, the podcast, at Nerd for No Reason. You know, dealer's choice, wherever you want. Go for it.
We
Mark,
keep it pretty simple.
Where are you at?
Well, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Turtles Do It, for sure. Yeah, I'm thinking this week I'm going to take Facebook off. I'm not going to do Facebook this week. Every time I've logged on to Facebook in the last couple of months, period, it's just been me just getting more and more frustrated. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead, just not be on Facebook. I'm gonna start with a week and see how much I enjoy it, and just go from there.
Yeah, man.
So, and Twitter's getting real close to that too. Oh, real quick, Animation Elimination Tournament.
Oh yes, please.
We're going into round 2. We are going to 24-hour polls on the Twitter for the next however many days until I think we got 5 or 6 rounds. So next week when we record, we'll be getting ready to go into round 3. We're going to do 24-hour rounds until we get through the round, and then the next group is going to be 24 hours of poll, and then the last for the Disney bracket, the last battle, is going to be a week long. So we're getting ready to get into the real nitty gritty, the fast paced action adventure of the Disney tournament breakdown. So get ready. Go on to Twitter at Nerd for No Reason. Yep, at Twitter at Nerd for No Reason. Get on there, vote. This is it, folks. We've got the first round out of the way, so now this is the champions run. So, and I think whoever's going to win our first one up tomorrow on Monday is going to be our winner, but that's neither here nor there. I don't want to persuade the voting audience. So, yes. And with that, go do something wonderful in the world today, kids.
You guys go adjust your medias, and we'll see you next week over here at the Nerd for No Reason podcast. Thank you. Goodbye.
I love all of you. Bye.
You are all my children. I loves you. What is happening out here? Oh God. It's Rad Dad. He's out here riding on the four-wheeler again.
Rad Dad?
Oh, yeah. So...
Who is Rad Dad?
I'm surprised Chris has not told you about Rad Dad.
No.
Rad Dad is one of the neighbors in the neighborhood that we live in Georgia, who is like 2 or 3 houses down from us. And when I first started seeing Chris, especially when his kids were a lot littler, and he would try to show his kids how to like do cool tricks on their bikes. So he like set up the tiniest little ramp, and he'd be like doing little, jumps and stuff from it. Yeah. And his kids would be like, "Whoa!" And Chris and I would just be like, "Thank you, Cabot." He is also watching Rad Dad now. But Rad Dad's just like the dad that's always like shirtless with his hat on backwards, that's always trying to do bike tricks or, constantly washing his car when it's pitch black outside. So he's just using the light from his garage. That's Rad Dad.
That's awesome.
And occasionally him and his kids will ride four-wheelers, and I guess they're doing that right now.
Does he have a can of Miller Lite while he's doing it?
Shoot,
step aside, son. Hold on a second.
Here, hold my beer.
I'm gonna
do a trick. Tries to do like donuts in the street in the cul-de-sac.
That's great.
Like, yeah. Will not miss Rad Dad. Not gonna lie.